Hi, everyone. How are you guys doing tonight? First things always, right, is can you hear me and can you see me? Pretty sure you can see me, but I'm not sure if my mic is on. So if somebody can let me know if you can hear me, that'll be great. Hi, Bob. How are you? And Bob has a question for all of us. I'm going to get to that in just 1 second. Hi, Larry. How are you? I did get your email, Larry, about not being able to open that PDF that I sent you, and I'm not exactly sure why. So I'm going to reformat it and send it again. I'll do that tomorrow, okay? Hi, Craig. How are you? Bob and Juliet, how are you? Good morning, John. How are you doing? Hey, Barbara and Robin. Hey, George. How are you? Hi, Juliet. Just scrolling down. Hi, Leanne. How are you doing? I was going to message you yesterday, and I just got busy and it slipped my mind. Sorry about that. Let's catch up real soon. I want to see how you're doing. All right, guys. Well, welcome to the Q&A with Louise. This is when you can ask all your cooking questions, and we can chat about whatever you want to chat about. I'll go over a few things from my trip, my recent Europe trip, but Tuesday, Tasty Tuesday next week, Jeff and I are going to do a little bit more of a presentation while I cook or after I cook a little really easy Italian meal. But I'm also going to share a few things with you that I learned in Italy about cooking technique and some differences from the US and Italy because they were a little bit shocking to me. So it was a great trip though. We absolutely loved it. All right, well, first let's get to our first question because this is a good one. And I get asked all the time, what's my favorite food? What's my favorite this? What's my favorite that? And it is so hard for me to determine or decide which one is my favorite. So Bob wants to know from me and everybody else in the chat, what is your favorite comfort food? So let us know in the chat what your favorite comfort food is. Mine, which is this going to sound a little bit odd, especially since I just got back from Italy, but it truly is, even before my visit there, my favorite comfort food, it's going to be a little strange, is cacio e pepe. And if you don't know what that is, it is basically cheese and pepper pasta. That's it. I make mine with angel hair pasta just because I like it that way. But I think traditionally it's made with a spaghetti, a little bit thicker of a noodle. And it's literally the easiest thing to make. And Jeff doesn't like those kind of pasta dishes. Like he is a definitely meat tomato sauce kind of pasta lover. So when he's at work or he's not going to be home for dinner, that is what I make when I need something that can be done in about 10 minutes because it only takes a few minutes. You boil the pasta and then you add in some of the pasta water, you add in the cheese and the pepper and you're done. I mean, that's it. It's so super good. And I love pepper, so it works for me. So that's my favorite. Although I do love meatloaf too. So Bob says his favorite is meatloaf. I do love meatloaf as well. All right, so Thai food. Oh, Barbara, I love Thai food. In fact, hey, Carrick. All right, good to see you, my friend. Oh, you can't hear anything. Well, I wish I knew sign language. I mean, I do. I could sign maybe your name, but I'd probably mess it up. But anyway, I'm saying hi to you, Carrick. So I'm going to put that up on the screen since you can't hear anything. I'm saying hi to you. Oh, how fun. It's so good to see you. I met Carrick when we went to Australia and me, Jeff, and him met. We had a few drinks and we hit it off like so tremendously. He is such an interesting person. We had the best conversation and I just absolutely loved it. John, calm yourself down. Your favorite comfort food is not Vegemite. I know that. You might like it, but it's not your favorite. You guys are so funny. Oh my gosh, haggis. George, come on. Can't be, right? Okay, Bob says he would need the meatballs. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could put meatballs with your cheese pepper pasta, but it would be a little odd. I would probably use maybe a turkey or a chicken type of meatball, but I get you. That's my husband too. He has to have, doesn't have to be meatballs, but he has to have the meat in the sauce. Hey, Jeff. Jeff is here. Chili without Vegemite or haggis. That's right. That's right. Jeff loves chili. And he loves to make chili. Now, one thing about Jeff right now, he is not home. He worked today, but he's been sick since we got back. And I told him, no. So he's actually staying at our workhouse because, hey guys, stop it. Because I don't want to get sick. And I'm on the verge myself. I've got a little bit of a cold, but his is much worse. So I'm like, no, in case he comes down with the flu or something. I have a feeling it's just the travel and the airplane and all that stuff. Hi, Trisha. How are you? Hi, Sylvia. My dogs are wrestling behind me, so I apologize for that. Cheese tortellini Alfredo. That is so good. And that's another simple one. I mean, well, you could make it simple by buying the tortellini, or you could, make it a little bit more complicated like I do. Make my own tortellini, which is fun to make. But again, that's a whole other process, right? All right. I don't know what that is. So I'm going to just delete that. I don't know what that is. Okay. Hey, Vicky. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was really unreal, honestly, from beginning to end. Like I don't know, some of you might know this because I've talked about it previously, but excuse me, my dogs, excuse me, stop, please. The attention is always yours, but they don't want to hear you, okay? They want to look at you, but they don't want to hear your mouth, okay? So we didn't have a plan for this trip, and I'm a planner. I mean, I plan everything out to the last detail. So for this trip, I got so overwhelmed with the Eurail system. I got so overwhelmed with not understanding, like where, or not knowing where we wanted to go in Italy. I was very overwhelmed planning this trip. Finally, I just said, Jeff, what if we just went to Oktoberfest, went to Zermatt because he wanted to paraglide, went to Zermatt, and then after that, we just wing it. We don't have a plan. We know we're going to Italy, and we'll just book things when we're there. And if we can't book where we decided we wanted to go, we would just go somewhere else. So we did that, and it was wonderful. And we stayed at some great places. We're going to talk more about that on Tasty Tuesday because Jeff's going to do some like short presentations and stuff, things that you guys can see from our trip. And yeah, it's just going to be great. But I'll answer any questions you have tonight too. But we'll go over a lot more of that stuff on Tuesday. All right, let me. Oh no. Juliet, I'm so sorry to hear that. Her granddaughter spent the night in ICU after a flight home from Japan. Oh my gosh. And I'm sure that's a very long flight too. And so if she wasn't feeling well, that would be miserable. I have some ear issues. And this is not related to your granddaughter, of course, but I have some ear issues. And so when I land in a plane and they descend pretty quickly, like I feel like I'm getting a knife stabbed in my ear. The reason why I bring that up is because it reminds me of hearing the babies and the young kids like crying on the plane about that time. And I so relate because that's what they're feeling, the pressure. And I just feel so bad for them, it's because it really is terrible. I hope she is doing better, for sure. Hi, Stacia. How are you? Good to see you, honey. John, they're not really being good, though. John's saying all the dogs are being good. They're not really being good. They're showing off. That's what they're doing. Oh, thank you, Stacia. Stacia says, welcome home, and I look so pretty and refreshed. I don't feel very refreshed. And like I said, I've been feeling this cold coming on, so I'm glad that I look better than I feel because I actually just woke up from a little nap because I was so exhausted at about 3:30 today. I said, oh, I better just lay down for a minute, and I did. So maybe that's why I look a little more refreshed. Although my dog, the little one, Gus, was annoying during my nap. So it wasn't the best nap, but anyway, we do what we have to do when we have dogs, right? And yes, I let them in the bed. Well, at least Gus. Callie's made her way back up there too now. I don't know. She thinks she's a princess. But anyway, hey, Debbie, how are you? You're another one I wanted to catch up with and see how you're doing. All right. Hi, Patricia. Thank you. I'm so glad to be home, and I got right back into work. In fact, I'm going to share with you guys something that I probably shouldn't share with you because I don't know if I'm going to get it done. But I decided when I got home that I needed to get a cookbook out, and I needed to get it out in 2 weeks. Oh my gosh, I'm so crazy. So, and it's an easy cookbook. It's for the Possible Cooker Pro, and it's a holiday edition. So it's just holiday recipes. But I know a lot of people are going to be wanting to use that for side dishes and use it for even maybe their turkey breast and things like that, so that they have another vessel to be able to use during the holiday, prep and things like that. So I have been busy converting some of my recipes from the pressure cooker over to the Possible Cooker Pro. So I've been making like 5 or 6 recipes a day. Some of them, well, all of them have turned out really well, except for one. I made a mistake. So I've got to go back to the drawing board with that, but the flavors were good. So I've been testing recipes, getting my InDesign template set up, and I am hoping that I can get this done and out in a week. How in the world is that going to happen? I don't know. But I'm going to really try. So I've been busy. So I jumped right back in, as I always do. Oh my goodness. All right. So let's see. Any more comfort food out there that you guys love? What's your favorite comfort food? Bob asked that. And I think those answers are super fun to read and talk about. And John, why don't you give us your real one? And how about George, you give us your real comfort food that you love? What do you go for? Like, if you want comfort food, what is the first thing you think of? Whether you're going to make it yourself or whether you're going to get takeout, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Yeah, Sylvia, 2 weeks. So I started it last week. I'm leaving tomorrow to go to work. Jeff will be coming home tomorrow night. So we're going to do a house swap, and I am just going to totally get immerse myself and get this thing done. So I'm very hopeful. Ooh, I'm very hopeful. Hi, Dawn. How are you? All right, Carrick, you have your headphones on now. So I was jumping up and down and saying hi earlier to you. I'm not going to do that again, but hi. I wasn't literally jumping up and down, but anyway. All right. Potato soup. That's a good one. That's a good one. And Robin says any type of home cooked soup. That is another good one. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. Now, would that be, I'm trying to think of the other name for it. I think I'm thinking of the same soup. But now I can't think of the name of it. I even have a recipe for it. Tom Kha Gai, maybe? I think that's what it's called, right? Is that what you're thinking of, Bill? That is my go-to Thai soup too. I absolutely love it, and I have a recipe for that too. Baked ziti, that's a good one, Carrick. That's a good one. And mac and cheese, yes, mac and cheese. I just did a recipe for mac and cheese. All right, let's talk about mac and cheese because mac and cheese is a whole topic in and of itself, right? There's so many variations. So, Nikki, are you a baked mac and cheese person or more of a Velveeta macaroni and cheese, which is the real creamy kind that kind of just spreads out on the plate, and the baked kind is a little bit more casserole-like? Which is your preference? Mine has always been the looser, cheesier, it's not held together by anything type of mac and cheese. And that's because the baked kind can kind of dry out, and I don't feel like it reheats that well. But look, I just made a recipe for the Possible Cooker Pro, and it is so good. It's so easy to make. It is so good. And I just heated some up for lunch today, and it in the microwave, which I don't even use the microwave usually. I usually use steam. Use the microwave, and it was absolutely perfect. So now I'm kind of torn. I actually think I like this version better than that creamy loose mac and cheese. Chinese spare ribs. Coffee pork ribs. Okay. I haven't seen those, and I've never made Chinese spare ribs. I don't even know if I've ever eaten them, but I'm sure that I would absolutely love them. Now, are those the oh, what's the cut of spare ribs? Why can't I think of them? It's the cross section of the ribs, and they're different. Flanken ribs. That's what they use, right? Not like pork baby back ribs or full spare ribs. Don't they use the little flanken ribs? I don't know for sure because I don't think I've ever had them, but I'm sure I would like them because I think they're like sticky and sweet, and I love that. So I'm sure I would love them. Hey, Colleen. I was just thinking about you the other day because I was so mad that I accidentally that spongy, the spongy things that you gave me that I use them all the time. I was doing dishes and it went down in the garbage disposal and I didn't realize it until I turned the garbage disposal on. Now I salvaged it. Obviously, I turned the garbage disposal off immediately and I salvaged it. It's just a little torn in one place, but I love those things. And I was thinking about you the other day when that happened. That was before I went on vacation. Hi, Raina. How are you? Um, so having diabetes, I can't enjoy too many things. Yeah, that the pastas and some of those types of things aren't the best for diabetes. It's kind of you want to do the protein with lower carb stuff. So I get that is kind of restrictive a little bit, but I'm not going to give any medical advice. But I am a nurse, and I always say, little things in moderation, but definitely follow your doctor's guidelines on what you can and cannot eat. But yeah, that does get a little restrictive. Yeah, right. That's it. That's exactly what happened too. I didn't lose it though. I didn't lose it. I just love those things, really. Hi, Barbara. How are you? Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be home. I really am. I was thinking that the other day, like, as much as we love traveling, we love to be home too. Like it's just the place you feel the most comfortable, right? Even taking a shower the other day, I was like, it is so nice to be in your own shower where you know what the water pressure is. You know where all your stuff is. You're not like trying to put your shampoo up on a shelf that's a little slanted and falls off. You know what I mean? So I love being home. Unfortunately, we are leaving again. I feel like we are nonstop traveling, but this is not something that we planned. Obviously, Jeff's aunt passed away, and her memorial is in November 14th. So we are leaving again. I think we leave on the 13th of November, and that it's just a short trip. But yeah, we'll be going again, and I'm not looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing the family. Not looking forward to because of why we're going, of course, but I really just want to stay put. I don't know when our next trip is going to be. We want to go to Scotland and Ireland, but I've got to put a hold on it right now. Even the planning, I just can't. Like, I just need to stop. Although, John, I will tell you that something came across my email the other day. It was actually today, and it was, Callie, excuse me. No, I looked at it. It was tickets to Australia for like 800 and some dollars. And I was like, oh, that would be nice. No, I'm not going. Not right now. Not right now. Hey, Christopher. Thank you, John. Thank you. And thank you, Colleen. Thank you so much. She had Alzheimer's for a while. And so, that's always one of those bittersweet things, but she's now with her sister and other family members up in heaven. So I know she's still watching over us, right? And her husband is doing pretty well. So that's good. Oh, Colleen, don't worry about that at all. And I'm willing to pay for them. I've said that all the time. I'm willing to pay for them. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you so much. And Christopher says, I love watching your adventures. Thank you. Thank you. We posted some, but you get lost in that. Like it takes a long time to write a post, even on Facebook. I mean, you think it wouldn't take that long, but when you're trying to get things right, thank you, Dom. When you're trying to get things right and not sound like a complete idiot, um, it takes some concentration. And I don't always remember, like, well, wait a minute, Jeff. Now we just did this yesterday, but what? Like, what are the details? Like, because you're moving so fast onto the next thing and onto the next thing and onto the next thing. Thank you. Thank you, Craig. That is a good question. What is my bucket list? Um, what is my bucket list for countries to visit? I've never really thought about Iceland too much. I want to go to Alaska. I've never been to Hawaii. Okay. That's in this country, but I've never been to Hawaii. I would like to go there, but that's not really high on my list. Alaska's high on the list. Mm, Ireland, Scotland, the UK, like I don't even know where though, like maybe London. I don't know. I don't know where I would go. Probably not London because I'm not a city person, but anyway, countryside probably. Where else? I can't think of any. I would love to go to Thailand, but I don't know that I will, but I would love that. Maybe because I really love the food so much. Portugal, we actually talked about that. I do want to get to France too. I want to get into France and do some food stuff in France. But I want to go back to Germany. We did not spend enough time in Germany at all. I definitely want to go back to Italy too. And I definitely want to go back to Australia. So yeah, it's a lot. I'm gonna have to live to be 185 in order to get this all done. Carrick, that's a good question. Will we do a New Year's Eve live stream? Most likely. I don't remember now if Jeff is working New Year's Eve or not this year. I'll have to check with him. But most likely we will. I mean, we don't do anything for New Year's Eve, so it's always fun to hang out with you guys. For people who aren't doing anything or going anywhere and stuff like that. So usually we'll we've done it has it been 2 years or 3 years or something like that, and that they're fun, they're interesting, aren't they? We it's interesting as the alcohol flows. I think one of them was like 4 a.m. Oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah, this one was, I think, through what's that red airline over there, John? I can't remember it now, but I think they might use United, but they also have their own. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. We love them too, Carrick. It's fun, the New Year's Eve parties. And it's, Jeff plays his music and plays his guitar. And last year we had some people come on and they sang. I mean, it was really fun. It was really fun. So we'll see what we can pull together for this year. But first I have to check with Jeff to see if he's actually working or not. Any other questions? And Bob, I don't know if I really answered your question about countries. That's the best I can do right now. Can't really think of some other place that I would really want to go. I mean, I want to go everywhere, right? I want to experience everything. Oh, Africa. I want to go to Africa. Definitely. I want to go to Africa. So that would be another bucket list thing. I think it's Virgin, John, the airline. I think it was Virgin. Yeah. Yeah. Sylvia says, oh yes, I remember New Year's. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Elise, I have been to Canada several times. Yeah, that's another place. We've gone into Canada on the French side, and that was fun. Well, I say it's fun. It's the middle of a blizzard, and I couldn't read the road signs, and they didn't seem to make sense to me. Okay, like some of the way the road signs were, I did not. Even though I took French in school, I did not understand them. Excuse me. Which, Nikki, yes, I live in the United States. Now, I will say in Italy, I don't speak Italian or read Italian either, but we did not have any trouble understanding the road signs or anything like that. That was pretty easy. So Germany, we didn't drive in, but it didn't seem too hard either. So Um, yeah, that was fun. So I've only been on the French side, over in Canada. So, but yeah, we'll probably get into Canada at some point. I guess, it's one of those things sometimes you don't think about the countries that are like right there at your border. You're thinking about, oh, I'll fly 15 hours over to Australia, or I'll fly, however, 8 hours over to Germany. But we'll definitely get up there. Um, all right. Any other Spain? Yes, absolutely. That would be another one for their paella. Absolutely. I would love to learn how to make um, uh, the authentic paella. I would love that. This is funny. What is my favorite thing about the universe? The people in it, my favorite thing. And probably that would be a double-edged sword, right? Because it would be, they're my favorite things and my least favorite things, because the good people in the universe are so good and so wonderful, and the bad people in the universe are the exact opposite. So it's my favorite and my least favorite thing. But yeah, the people, definitely. Hi, Georgiana. How are you? Good to see you. Um, we saw Niagara Falls from the US side when we did a trip. I think it was a couple years ago. We've pretty much been all over the US, so we don't have too many more places to go. A couple states. I think I've been in all of them except for Hawaii. And I think Jeff has not been in, maybe it was South Dakota or North Dakota, one of those. So yeah, we plan on taking some more road trips in the US too. Carrick, next Tasty Tuesday is next Tuesday, and we're going to do a little bit of a presentation from where we went on our trip. And I'm going to cook up a really quick, very quick and easy Italian pasta dish with dried pasta. And that seems like a good segue for me to get into some of the differences that surprised me between what we know US Italian food to be, which is, it is very different. And what it really was like in Italy. The first thing, and I'll show you this next Tuesday, I'll show you the spaghetti pasta that I brought home. And then I'll talk about the homemade variety that we had there that was even thicker. So our spaghetti noodles are tiny compared to what they would consider spaghetti noodles. And I think now don't quote me on this, but I think they call it PICA, which actually, as a nurse, that has a totally different meaning. I'm looking it up right now because pica is when you eat things, but they call it peachy, and it is spelled PICI. Now, keep in mind, we were in Tuscany. Okay, so this is going to vary by region, but this pasta is so thick, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, it's not as thick as my pinky, but it is maybe about half the size. It is 4 times bigger than our spaghetti noodles here. So when we first got it, it almost looked like an Asian noodle, okay? A thicker Asian noodle. It did not look like what I would think of as a spaghetti noodle. So it was very interesting, very interesting. And I'll show you that pasta next week. I'm not going to use it in my dish because, well, maybe I will actually, but it's probably not exactly the right pasta to use in the dish that I'm going to make, but we can break the rules. So the other thing that I found out is I finally got to the bottom of the bolognese dilemma here. So there is a place called Bologna in Italy, and the mayor has come. I did some research before I went. This is why I know this. The mayor came out and said there's no such thing as bolognese pasta or something like that. I hope I'm getting this right because I don't want to keep this misconception going. So I hope I get this right. If Jeff is still in, maybe he'll remember more than I do. But anyway, so there's not a bolognese pasta dish, but there is a bolognese sauce, okay, that is then put on your pasta, okay? So it's like 2 separate things. So you wouldn't call it a bolognese pasta, okay? That's not the correct thing, according to him anyway, according to the mayor there. So the bolognese sauce, I found out I've made it before, and I actually think mine was really good. And when I compared it with the one that I had there, which I know the restaurant was very good, and this tasted delicious, like really very rich flavors. It was just really, really good. Now, a lot of people call my spaghetti from the Ninja Foodie pressure cooker, they call it the bolognese because it does have the meat in it. It is not. It is American spaghetti sauce, basically, because the process is so different. So when I've made it from scratch, which I learned kind of doing before we went to Italy, I wanted to kind of have the fundamentals down. I would roast the beef bones, make my beef stock. I mean, I did it all from scratch, right? And then, of course, it's a long simmered sauce. But what I found out is that they actually I'm going to say pancetta, okay, because we can't really get I think it's called guanciale, but I can't even pronounce it. So forgive me for my ignorance here. But there's another kind, I think might be pork cheek. I'm not sure about that either, but I think so. We can't really get it easily here in the US, but you could use pancetta. And I found that they actually grind their pancetta. So they'll lightly render it. They don't get it crispy or anything like that. They just lightly render it in some garlic and onions, and then they blend it into a paste. And that is the base of their bolognese sauce. So they put that in. The other thing I found out is with the bolognese sauce, a lot of times when Americans are making pasta dishes or even tacos, like even just a taco, a ground beef, mixture with taco seasoning, we tend to keep the meat pretty chunky, right? And it is not really chunky there at all. It kind of blends in. And a way to get that done is when you put and it's usually made with a couple different kinds of meat. There it's made with veal, beef, and pork. And you put a little bit of wine right in with the ground meat and mix it up. And that kind of breaks up and loosens up the meat mixture. And then you put it into the sauce. Now, I don't even think they brown it. I'm going to have to get clarification on that. I don't even think they brown it first. I think they put it right in, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that. I didn't watch anyone make it. So, but I was just talking to people about it. So anyway, so it was very interesting. The other interesting thing was the meal times. Okay. So for, an old person like me who likes to eat at 5, 6 o'clock and be in bed by 8 o'clock, Italy is a whole different culture. The restaurants and where we were, of course. Now, if you're in Rome or more of the touristy areas, like we didn't see a tourist, like pretty much, except when we went to the Tower of Pisa. We didn't see any tourists where we were. Like nobody was a tourist. We were the tourists. We were the only people that even didn't speak Italian. So it's not true in all the areas of Italy, but it is true here where we were in northern Italy in the Tuscany region. You eat first of all, breakfast is not like American breakfast at all. It's usually pastry and some coffee or something like that. Or maybe they'll make it at home, a bigger breakfast. I don't know, but there's not like restaurants that you go to have like a sit down breakfast like you would in the US or even in other countries. So we would have a pastry and, coffee, blah, blah, blah. Then you need to be planning where you're going to eat lunch. If you're eating out, of course, it's totally different if you're making it at home. But if you're planning on eating out, you have to think about that because you need to be there before 1 o'clock because they shut down at 3 o'clock. So I'll say 11:30, 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock is lunch, right? And you have to plan 90 minutes, okay? Because especially if you don't speak Italian and you don't understand like what you're ordering, because your meal's going to take forever because everything is multi-course. So your first course is your pasta course, and then your second course is your meat course. And then of course you've got you can order extra sides if you want, but you don't need them because there's so much food. And then maybe a salad, something like that. So it's a process. There's no quick eating in Italy. So George, I'll get to your question in just a second. Okay. Let me finish this talk. Let me finish this thought. So, 1 to 3, and then all the restaurants shut down, like all of them from 3 to 7. They don't open back up until 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. So if you want to eat dinner, you're waiting. If you want to eat dinner out, you're waiting. And you oftentimes need reservations. So I did a little bit of cooking. Those are some of the things that I'll show you next Tuesday in little video clips of me cooking. One of the places that we stayed was so cool. It was on at like an olive producer's little farm. I say little farm. I don't mean that condescendingly, like it's a small, she's a small producer. So it's a smaller type of venue. And her kitchen in the building where she has her VRBO is a loft. Like, you go up the steps and you're like overlooking the living room and stuff. So that was pretty cool. But we'll show you some of that stuff. So George, pancetta is a different than the guanciale. I wish I knew how to pronounce that because I know I sound like an idiot. But those are two different things. But they might be different preparations of the same meat. Let me look that up real quick so we can get clarification here right now. We'll go to Google, which Google is not always right. I guess you guys know that, right? Versus pancetta, which is totally different than prosciutto. Oh, I will also say the prosciutto in Italy is nothing like we get in the US. It is not salty. It is so amazing. I just can't believe it. Okay, so guanciale, which I'm going to spell it. It's Guanciale, and pancetta. They're both cured pork products, but they differ in the cut of meat, flavor, and texture. So the Guanciale is the pork cheek, and pancetta is the pork belly. So in the US, we could get pork belly and we could cure it ourselves and make our own pancetta. Now, I think I remember that making prosciutto is a very long process. So I want to do that though one day. I'm gonna try to do that. And Carrick says I had pizza in Pisa. Carrick, we went to Pisa and we saw the tower, we took a picture, and we left. I was accosted by a lady trying to sell me something, and I guess I'm naive, and she had a baby on her back, and I'm naive and loving, and I'm carrying on a conversation with her, and she gives me a bracelet, and we're starting to walk away, and Jeff's like, you got to give that bracelet back, because she's coming after me and she wants to put it on my wrist, and Jeff's like, no, you got to give it back, you got to give it back, you got to give it back. And I'm like, well, I didn't want it in the first place, so I gave it back to her, and then so funny, Jeff's like, that's a scam, honey. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry, I'm a sucker for a lady with a baby on her back, right? I mean, that's just me. When we were leaving, same thing happened to him. And he's like all buddy up with this guy. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, they've got the same spiel, right? So I know it's the same thing. But Jeff, although he could find, he knew what was going on with me, he didn't know what was going on with him for a little bit. It was hilarious. And so then we just left, because I hate that. I really do. I hate that, because I don't want to be mean to anybody. And I hate to ignore people. And it's just hard for me. Like, I don't even like when people come up and want to wash my windows and stuff, because I feel so bad, like I don't want to ignore them. But I also think that they shouldn't be running out in the street to do that, when I'm stopped at a light, and it could turn at any time. So anyway, all right. Did we partake in limoncello? Yes, we did. I love limoncello. In fact, I had that in Germany too. I absolutely love it. And that is another recipe and it's not hard to make. So I am definitely going to make that, because, oh my gosh, so good. I'm sure the lemons that you get make a big difference. So I'll have to do some research on that. George is trying to help me pronounce Grand Charlie when spoken with an Italian accent. Oh my gosh, I still couldn't say it. Definitely not. Definitely not. Do you see my cold? I got a little cold here. Anyway, and I'm also drinking a little bit of coffee, which kind of looks gross right now, but it was really good when it was nice and hot. Oh, speaking of coffee, the coffee in Italy. I'm sorry, John. And anyone else who thinks their country has the best coffee. Italy has the best coffee, hands down, period. And that I've had. It is so amazing. Like, I don't know what is different about it, really, but it is so, so incredibly good. So I loved the coffee there. And this is not that coffee, so I'm going to have to try to find how to make it here in the US. And Jeff did a little bit of research, and apparently it's a blend of coffee beans that they use that aren't like, I don't think like Italian coffee beans or anything. So I'll have to look into that and see what I can get and make it. But there's just something, I don't know what it is, but it's so good. Even their Nespresso, and I'm not a huge fan of Nespresso, which Nespresso is those little, kind of think of Keurig pods in the US. And Nespresso's around here too, but you really see it a lot in Europe. Um, they're little teeny tiny capsules that go into the machine, and then, it's a coffee machine thing, and then blah, blah, blah. Well, I've always hated it. I thought it was terrible, bitter, nasty. In Italy, that stuff's delicious. I mean, that's what we had when we were in our Airbnbs or VRBOs, whatever you want to call them. All right, John, I'll definitely hold you guys to that. Okay. And he's going to have to put on a whole Italian outfit and serve me that coffee and talk in an Italian accent. And that will be worth that $835 airplane ticket. So you're on for that one. Or we'll do it virtually and save 800 and some dollars, right? Anyway, that's a lot of fun. Dawn, I never used to drink coffee either, especially when I was younger. It's probably in my 30s that I started drinking coffee. And basically, like, this is a funny story about I don't even remember where we were. We might have been, I don't know if we were in Austria, because we also stopped over in Austria for one night. It wasn't a big deal, but we had really good food. I forget where we were. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, we went to like the breakfast that is in the hotel. It might have even been the day before we took our flight out. I think that's what it was. So we were in Germany. That's what it was, because the couple that was sitting like near us, he was from Germany. They live in the States, but he was from Germany. So we were talking a lot about rouladen and stuff. And the lady said to me, she's like, well, have some coffee with that sugar. Yeah. So their coffee was not good. Okay. Their coffee was not good. So it was basically the coffee, but a lot of sugar and a little bit of cream in there. So, yeah, that was not good. But in Italy, when I had the coffee, I sometimes didn't even need to put any sugar in it. It might even have to do with and we got cappuccinos a lot, things like that. It might have even had to do with their milk being sweeter. I just don't know. I just don't know exactly what it was, but amazing. Now, the best steak on the trip that we had was in Austria at a very unassuming place, really. And it was so amazing. I mean, absolutely hands down. So amazing. Well, I'll have to try it. Now, Vietnamese coffee, would that be like a preparation, or is it the type of coffee blend? I'll have to look that up because I'm not really sure, Sylvia, what that is. But yeah, and Carrick says about Barry, he's got to put on an Italian mustache. All right. That sounds like fun. All right, guys. Any other questions for me or for you guys? Anything else that you want to talk about before we kind of wrap this up a little bit? We still have some time. I'm trying to think if there's anything new going on with me. There's always new things that I'm working on. I've worked on workflow tracker. So my stance on AI is AI can be very helpful as a tool to use to be able to keep yourself on track and produce like better content and things like that. But it will never take the place of recipe development and all those kind of things. But I've been embracing that to get some things to keep Jeff and I on track with what we're doing and what we have. Like for every video or every recipe that I do, there's probably about, I don't know, 25 to 30 things that we need to do other than the recipe development, other than the long form video, other than all those other things that happen. it's all the social media graphics. It's the short form video that we're trying to get into a little bit more, and just all these things. So I have this tracker now that I built with AI where we can go into a recipe in progress, and we each have columns under different stages of the recipe process. And in the beginning, it's all me doing the recipe development and all that stuff. And then Jeff picks up and starts doing things as we progress through. And that's been great. So that is a great use for AI. I have no idea why I'm even talking about AI. Oh, I guess I'm just telling you what I'm up to. And then I built a scheduler. I built my own scheduler for Facebook, which is super cool. And I'm super proud of myself for this because it's just amazing. So now and I had tried different products and I wasn't able to get what worked with my brain, because with any tool that you're using to be more efficient at whatever it is you're trying to do, if you don't, if it doesn't work with how your brain works, it doesn't work, right? It doesn't work for you. If the interface isn't what you want it to be, you're not going to use it, right? So I built my own, and now I can see all these things. I can see all my Facebook groups. I can schedule to them. They're all color coded. I can see all of my business page posts, TikTok things, which I don't do a whole lot with, but I want to kind of get into more short form video. And I can see it all in one glance, and then I can filter it out into specifics. And it's really, really amazing. Bye, Colleen. Have a good day. Hi, newbie Nicole. Yes, we made it back safe and sound. All right, let's read this from Bill. Bill says, you may not have seen this. Jenna Small. I don't know who that is. Maybe you're talking to somebody else in the chat. I'm not sure who Jenny is. But anyway, what Ninja appliance do you recommend to replace the Ninja Foodie? I'm going to cry over this one. So none of them are the Ninja Foodie. None of them. None of them are the Ninja Foodie. I'm sorry. It's just there's no replacement for it. I am probably going to have to break down and try out the new Instant Pot. I think it's now Pro Crisp, which is the closest thing that we can get to the Ninja Foodie. But when I tried the Duo Crisp, and this is their first release, Instant Pot, years ago, I did not like it. I didn't like it at all. There was several things I didn't like about it. I think they have now improved it, so I am going to probably have to break down and get it. I don't need one because I have probably 10 Ninja Foodies. I've got a long life of Ninja Foodie use, but I want to test it out for you guys because that is where everyone's going to be who has learned to love the Ninja Foodie and uses it all the time. Is they are going to wear out, and you can't really easily replace them. You can still get a few of the 2-lid models, but you can't really get any of the 1-lid models in the US. This is okay. But it's going to happen because if Ninja's not making them anymore, they're not going to be shipping overseas anymore. So once that supply runs out, it's going to be gone too. I mean, they have taken them off their website. So all indicators are they're not coming back. I've prayed that they will, but it does not appear that they have, unless they shock me this year, which I hope they do. I've been waiting for several years for them to come out with a new model, and they haven't. So I'm thinking they've gotten out of the pressure cooking business. Maybe there was a lot of lawsuits, and I don't want to get into that too much because I don't know, if there were defects. I've never encountered one, right? And I used it a lot, of course, I still use it. And I used all the different models. I never had a problem, but there were a lot of lawsuits, and there were some, concerning ones where people were claiming that lids flew off and stuff. I read a lot of them. I don't want to accuse anybody, but some of them sound like maybe little user error. People don't understand pressure cooking, and when they don't understand pressure cooking, and then they get bad advice from even other recipe creators or Facebook groups, they get bad advice, they do something stupid, and stupid things happen. I mean, that's just the way it is. But I think they're out of that business. So I think Instant Pot is the only one that's still producing them, and I don't know for how long, or if they're going to continue to carry it, but I'll probably have to test that out. So nothing's comparable that Ninja has, in my opinion. Now, the Ninja Combi doesn't pressure cook, but it is a nice appliance and it does a lot of things. In fact, one thing it does better than the Ninja Foodie is bread. Okay, so if you're a bread maker and you're okay with smaller loaves, you're not going to get huge loaves like you can in the oven because the space inside the oven isn't big enough for that. But if you're okay with smaller loaves of bread, the Ninja Combi is a very nice appliance. It is super easy to clean. It has your steam crisp, your steam bake. It's got proof and it's got a lot of functions. It's a very nice appliance, but it is one of those things that you kind of have to know what you're doing a little bit. And I haven't put too many recipes out on it, and mostly because I kind of pivoted over to the Possible Cooker Pro, and I'll tell you about that in just a second. Why I kind of pivoted over to the Possible Cooker Pro. And I'm not doing a lot of recipes in the Ninja Foodie anymore. Number one, I found out after I did the scheduler and I loaded them all in, I have like, I think 300 and some recipes in the Ninja Foodie pressure cooker and air crisper. I've got that covered. Like pretty much anything you want to make is on my website for that, right? I've really, I mean, I could come up with variations of different things, of course, but pretty much that's all done. I've got you covered there with the Ninja Foodie. So I pivoted over not to the combi because honestly, my brain wasn't, I was kind of burned out from the Ninja Foodie of having to create these recipes that really, in order for them to work for the majority of people, which I'm hoping is like 99.9% of the people that try my recipes, they work the first time without problems. It's a lot of brain power that goes into thinking of how to do this the easiest way, but also get the best result at the end. And the combi requires that kind of same brain power. And basically, and you guys know, I went on break after my Australia trip, had some health issues, things like that. So my brain power wasn't engaged. I didn't want to go into the combi world, and you need to deep dive. When somebody like me is creating recipes for an appliance, you have to immerse yourself in that appliance. That means you cook every single thing in that appliance day in and day out, because that is the only way you get to know it, understand it, realize what it can do, its potential, and also its drawbacks. And then I can bring all that information to you. I wasn't quite ready to do that with the combi. I may do it because I do love the combi. I may do it in the future, but I wasn't ready for that. And there was something very attractive about a pot that looks like a crock pot, but does other things. It was a little challenging because they Ninja loves their marketing stuff, right? They claim it to be a bread maker. Well, how in the hell is it going to make bread when it doesn't have a heating element on the top to like brown your bread and stuff? Like, how in the hell is that going to work? And I don't like misleading marketing, and I think that is misleading. And I think people have bought it as a bread maker. It is not a bread maker, but you can make bread in it. And I've been learning how to do that and actually how to get some browning on it. In fact, good browning I've gotten on it. And so there's some tricks there. But I just like the idea of this simple appliance. And at face value, it seems very simple. It's slow cooker. You can braise in it, which braising and slow cooking is not a whole lot different. Usually it's about the amount of liquid that you use and a few other things, but it's not a whole lot different. Sear saute in it. You can proof in it. You can bake in it, which is really interesting. And people were having a lot of fails because they were baking in the bottom. And there's certain things you can bake in the bottom, but a lot of times, even at the lowest temperature, people were getting scorched food, stuff like that. So it just seemed like, oh, this will be easy. It turns out it hasn't been as easy as I thought it was going to be, because there are differences in the way that it cooks, even on slow cook, and the way that the pot transfers heat to food is a little bit different. These are all things that need to be factored in when I create these recipes and stuff and really get to know the pot. But it was attractive to me because it just seemed like it'd be so easy, right? You can see your food. So for years and years and years under pressure cooking, and even air frying to a degree, because you don't want to always open up the lid, look at it, because you're letting all your heat out. Putting stuff into a pot and not being able to stir it, look at it, and you just basically cross your fingers and hope when you open it up when it's done that it worked out. And that is always like, oh, I want to look at my food as it's cooking. So that's why I went to the Possible Cooker Pro and started doing a whole bunch of recipes in that. And that's kind of where I am right now. But that is totally different from the Ninja Foodie. It doesn't have air fry. It doesn't have any of those fancy type of things. It doesn't have any heating element on top. It looks exactly to me like a crock pot, but it does function a little bit differently. And I love it. So I also noticed a lot of people were having issues using it. Now, I know there's some combi people, and Leanne, I don't know if you're still in the chat, but she loves her combi. She makes everything in her combi and she absolutely loves it. And I know a lot of people are struggling with that too. They're like, oh, I got it because it was the closest thing to the Ninja Foodie that I could get now, and they're totally lost. So I know there's a place for me to do recipes in it, but I'm just not there yet. I do have a few, but I'm just not there yet. But with the Ninja Possible Cooker Pro, I am having so much fun. And in fact, last night, and I'm working on this cookbook that I talked about early on. It's just a little short 30 recipe, maybe 35 recipe cookbook specifically for holidays. So things like a pork tenderloin, a stuffed pork loin. We have a seafood chowder. I have some appetizers. I just put out Chex Mix. I put that out publicly, but that's also going to go in the cookbook, but that's also available free on my website. So if you just want the Chex Mix, you don't have to buy the cookbook. The other recipes are not going to be public. So you have to get the cookbook if you want those recipes. I'm going to do a sweet potato dish, doing a corn casserole. I did mashed potatoes. And my thing with mashed potatoes is the same as when I do pasta dishes these days anyway, since the Ninja Foodie spoiled me so much, is my rule of thumb is I'm not draining pasta. I don't want to drain it. Now, if you want to drain it, you can just make it a little bit differently. It's perfectly fine. I don't want to drain it, so I don't want to drain potatoes either. I don't like that step. I just don't like it. I don't like picking the pot up. I don't like putting it into the colander. You don't know how many times that it's overflowed, not like overflowed the colander, but like I missed the colander and all my damn potatoes go in the sink, or my pasta goes in the sink. No, I don't like doing it. So I'm doing my mashed potato recipe where you will boil your potatoes in just the amount of liquid that is needed for them. And also that it will be gone by the time you add in your cream and stuff. So it's literally one pot, literally one pot mashed potatoes. And they turned out really, really well. And there's some secrets to that too, because you want your potatoes on the dry side. So you have to boil out the water and then dry them. And the Possible Cooker Pro does that beautifully. So I'm excited about that. I know that was a very long-winded answer to a question of what Ninja appliance do you recommend to replace the Foodie? And again, sum it up, there isn't one. But if I was going to get two appliances that would do pretty much everything that the Foodie does, I would get the Combi and the Possible Cooker Pro. Those are my two go-to. Now, outdoor, I love the Ninja Woodfire. I really do. I also have the new Ninja, what is it called? Flex Flame. And I love that as a grill, but it is not a smoker. It sucks as a smoker. Don't get it as a smoker. It doesn't smoke anything. It's terrible. But as a grill, it's amazing. It's an amazing grill. The pizza oven, I have never gotten into that. I wanted to so much, but it's too small of a space. Now the Flex Flame does do pizzas, and it does it really well. Best pizza oven grill I've ever had. The pizza oven outdoor, I just can't. I thought I would love it because there's some great features on it. I just have not had much luck with it, so I've kind of forgotten about that. So yeah, the Ninja Combi and the Ninja Possible Cooker Pro are my two go-tos right now. And I've been cooking in the Possible Cooker Pro nonstop for, since we returned from vacation. And before that too, I was using it quite a bit, even in my videos. So yeah, it's pretty cool though. Let's see if there's any more comments and then I'll just sign off here. Oh, I'm so glad, Sylvia. So she loved the Chex Mix. Did you try the air fryer version or the Possible Cooker Pro one? Oh, there. Okay, Jenna, that's who he was talking to. I was like, I don't know who Jenna is. I thought Jenna might be an influencer, like a person that was doing recipes and something. I was so lost there, Jenna. I'm sorry. I have the Impossible Cooker, and so I'll be looking up the recipes. That's awesome. It's the Possible Cooker Pro. And you know what's funny? I didn't write my recipes with that name, Possible Cooker Pro, and I think I'm going to go back and rename them because um I've done like slow cooker. So I've got chili that's done in the Possible Cooker Pro, and I just call it slow cooker. And I think I probably need to go back and really be specific so that people can find those recipes on my website because I've got quite a few. Like I've got a one pot fettuccine Alfredo in the Possible Cooker Pro, and it's easy and it's amazing. And again, no draining pasta, right? Hi Doreen, how are you? All right, John, I'll see you later. We'll catch up. Yeah, we'll talk soon. Hope all is well. I love you guys. Um, there's my dog. Hi. Yes, I know. I love you too. Do you want to say hi to everybody? What is wrong? What is wrong? You probably have to go outside. Come on. You come up. Come on. Come on. Come on. Don't undress me on TV. Come on. Do you want? No, no, no. Gus. Gus, honey. Look. No. And I'm not on TV. That was silly of me to say, but anyway. So you always have to wait till the end of these lives to get the fun stuff, right? My goodness. As the dog pulls my shirt off. Oh, Doreen, the currywurst. Yes. I can't. I'll have to go back and look. Did you message me? Forgive me. My memory sucks. If you messaged me, I can message you back. I am not allowed to initiate any messages to anybody through Facebook Messenger or anything. So, but yes, the currywurst. Oh my goodness, was that delicious. Now, I think I had it 3 or 4 times. And each time was a little bit different. So I see where there's variations, as with anything, right? There's variations in the way that it's made. But it is one of the most interesting and flavorful dishes. I mean, I absolutely loved it. And I can't even tell you which version I liked the best. The first one I had was at Oktoberfest, and that was really good. But then I had another one somewhere else. And we actually got it on the train. We were taking a train ride somewhere. Excuse me, in Italy. Was it in Italy? Yeah, I think so. It's really the only place we took a lot of trains. Oh my gosh, it was so good. It's just so good. Oh my gosh. What type of dog is Rocky, Doreen? Because Gus is just a mutt. We have no idea what he is, but he is the cutest darn little thing. I mean, he is, I love all my animals. I do. And I've loved every dog that I've ever had. But I feel like Gus is like, I know some people say spirit animal. Like Gus is my baby. He is just, there's just something about this dog that I just adore. Just like Jeff is very, very attached to George, and George is very attached to Jeff. I think they pick their people, right? And though I would never show favoritism, I would try not to show favoritism. Gus is definitely my dog. I just adore him. But I have no idea what kind of breed he is. And of course, he's got a liver shunt. So he was sick as a puppy. He's been doing great, though. We haven't had any issues with him whatsoever. But we don't know, what his life expectancy will really be. I think he's like 4 now, though. So he's doing pretty good. All right, guys. Well, let's wrap this up here. And any other last minute questions? This is always the sad part for me. Well, George, I think Jeff's a little attached to you too. So don't get your feelings hurt. He loves his dog, but he loves you too. Bye, Carrick. It was so good to see you, and we will have to catch up soon. I was thinking about you the other day we didn't get to the places in Switzerland that you suggested. We really only got to Zermatt, but I really want to go back there too. That's a whole nother thing. Um, there's just so many things I want to do, right? Bye, Leanne. Good night. Good night, Barbara. So yeah, Dorian, we got Gus from a coworker of Jeff's. So we don't know what he is either, and I think he doesn't look like a pit bull to me. I think he might be have a little Jack Russell in him because he just jumps so high. Um, so yes, I would absolutely make schnitzel. Absolutely. I don't know. Like, I would have to try to figure out how to do it justice. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think the air fryer is going to cut it. I would love to make a version in the air fryer, and I will probably try that. But oh my gosh, the coating and the crispiness is something that you pretty much only get from a frying technique, right? So, oh, that's going to be hard to try to do in the, and I want to do it justice because when done right, it is so, so good. The other things that we ate a lot of veal, which we don't have in the US that much. In fact, I've never seen it in a grocery store. Maybe in my younger years, but not anymore. We don't see it at all. But I guess you could get it from a butcher somewhere, maybe, or a producer, a farmer kind of thing. But veal is very good. Veal is it's cow, but it's very good. So I wouldn't make veal, and I think is veal the true schnitzel, or schnitzel just the cooking technique? See, I have to educate myself. So I think there's Jaeger schnitzel, and I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly either. But that is, I think, pork, right? I think so. Or maybe that's the sauce because they're different sauces too. So anyway, again, education. I must educate. It was a 2-day trip in Germany. We weren't there very long. I didn't have a whole lot of time to ask questions. So, but yeah, absolutely, I would love to make that. I actually had, before I left, I put out the recipe for roulade, and I was really pleased I was afraid. I was like, Jeff, this is a gamble, man, because if I go to Germany and my roulade like sucks compared to the way that they actually serve it, or it's so totally different, I'm going to have to pull that recipe down off my website because no, it has to be good. And I'll use authentic as possible. Okay. Because that's really hard when there's so many variations of different things. But, I'm happy to say that besides for the size of my beef rolls, which are small because that's the easy way to get the pounded thin beef. They're not huge. Like you could get them in Germany because that's a signature dish that they do all the time. Apparently they will shave their top round, and they might even use bottom round, but a big roast, and they make huge beef rolls. So like your flat piece of beef would be about this big. So when you roll them up, they're as big as my fist. I mean, they're huge. Mine are tiny. They're little, but they are good. In fact, I thought mine sauce and even the texture of my beef rolls was better than the place. And I ate it 3 times in Germany. But I thought mine was just a little bit more balanced, a little bit better. That's not to say that I made it better. Somebody jumped all over me on Facebook over this. Oh, leave it to you Americans that you can do everything better. I'm like, oh my God. First of all, you don't even know me because that's not who I am. But I was simply saying that I like my version better. And that is perfectly fine for me to say, right? I like my version better because maybe the one restaurant that I had it in at the time when I put that post, maybe they didn't make it the best. Right? But I did have it 3 other times and I still like mine the best. But guess what? I created the recipe. So I created it for my taste buds, right? And I hope your taste buds think it's the best too. But hey, my recipe might not be for everybody. But I was happy that at least it compares enough that I don't have to pull it off my website. I also have a recipe for braised cabbage, which we had a lot there. It's a red cabbage dish. That varied too by restaurant, and I liked them all. I liked them all. And I think mine is right up there with it. I won't say that mine was the best because there was one that I had that had a little bit different of a flavor from all the other ones too. And I did enjoy that one. And I'm not even really sure what they put in it. Okay. And like if I lived in Germany, I would eat that several times and try to figure it out, but I don't live there. So I'm not going to be able to get it again. Um, but oh my gosh, any version was delicious. And I was super happy. The one thing that I was really interested in is they put a certain jam into this braised dish that we can't get here. I don't even remember the name of it now. So I substituted my own homemade cranberry. It's not really a jam, cranberry jelly. But it's a spiced cranberry jelly. And that really, I couldn't tell the difference between what they put in it and what I put in mine. It was just really that good. So, okay, Wiener Schnitzel is without sauce and original veal. Okay, thank you for that. And then oh, what is this? A whole nother one. I never even saw that, Doreen. Oh my gosh. So interesting. Then, of course, there's the one that starts with a J that I always think of that liquor. What's that liquor? Jägermeister. I always think of that when I think of it. What is it? Jäger Schnitzel, something like that. Anyway. Hey, Mark, how are you? So good to see you. Glad you could join in. Next Tuesday is our Tasty Tuesday. So if you have a moment, pop in. That's when I do cooking with my husband, Jeff. So, and that's a lot of fun too. So if you have time, pop in and say hi there. Thank you. Thank you so much, Melissa. That's my goal. I mean, I always encourage people to tweak them though to their liking if they don't like it my way, because recipes are simply a guideline. That's all they are. And basically when we're working with these appliances that I kind of, I don't want to say I specialize in them, but it seems to be my niche that I got into. Really, it's not as much of the ingredients as the amounts and the cooking technique in some of these appliances that needs to be really the main focus. So you can switch out different things and make the dish your own and follow the recipe as far as the technique goes, and it will work out great for you. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Totally understand. All right. Well, guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. It sounds like my dogs are getting a little out of sorts because I think they want to go out, and I'm going to wrap up the day here. I've got a few things to do in the kitchen to clean up. Like last night, I basically cooked Thanksgiving dinner yesterday in the Possible Cooker Pro. So I made a turkey breast bone in. I made a corn casserole I made a mistake with it. I put the stuff in when I put my egg mixture, because it's a custard based thing. And the pot was too hot. So it started to curdle. So I added more milk to cool it down real quick. And then I was rushing because I wanted to be done and clean up the kitchen. And I was rushing. So I switched it from low to high. And then basically it looked like scrambled eggs with corn. It was really gross. The flavor's good. So I know it's a solid recipe. My technique was horrible. So I need to go back to the drawing board with that. But I made that. I made rolls, and I made them in the Possible Cooker Pro. So I've got interesting stories about that. I wish I could. Oh my gosh. I need to film myself all the time because you guys would laugh so hard at these rolls. So I'm testing out the browning for bread in the Possible Cooker Pro. And please, if you're not interested in this, you do not have to stick around. I will see you guys next week for Tasty Tuesday, but I'm going to just finish this because I think it's hilarious. So good night, Bill. So I made the rolls, and I made my little tray. Okay. Cause when you're making dinner rolls, it's important that they are kind of against each other. They don't have to be smushed. You don't want them smushed against each other, but they need to be lined out. Like if you know about a pack of like Hawaiian dinner rolls or any dinner rolls, how they're attached and stuff, and they're like in one big sheet. Well, when you're rising them for the second time after you shape them, it's important that they're kind of tight together. And I wanted to make my own tray. So I did that out of aluminum foil, and I made my own tray so it could go on the rack in the Possible Cooker Pro, and it could proof for the second time. And then I could bake it on the rack, right? So I did this. So I proofed them. They rose up beautifully. They look great. And I want to bake them at a very high heat. And now I'm like saying, okay, I know I'm not going to get any browning from a top element because there's no top element. But if I put the lid on, I know I'm going to get steam, which is going to bake these rolls beautifully. They're just going to look horrible. Um, when I say horrible, they're just going to look very blonde. They're not going to have any browning. So like, I'm going to try to figure out if I can maybe halfway through the baking process, drop them down to the bottom and see if, because with a loaf of bread, you bake it for a lot longer and you actually do get browning on the top. Okay. Um, but rolls don't bake that long. So anyway, I was playing around with it. They turned out, I could tell just by looking at them that I think I baked them for about 20 minutes on 425, something like that. They were beautiful. And to my surprise, and I say surprise, but this is what I was hoping. The aluminum foil transferred enough heat to actually brown the bottoms beautifully and brown around the sides. So the only thing that wasn't brown was the top. I thought, all right, how am I going to go forward with this recipe? First of all, am I just going to scratch it, or am I going to call these make ahead rolls? Okay. And what I mean by that is you get the process done the day before, and then right when you want to serve them, and you can freeze them, of course, then right before you want to serve them, the only thing you need to do, they're fully cooked. The only thing you need to do is pop them in the oven on a high heat for a short period of time, close to the element, and just brown the top. And they're going to be absolutely beautiful, hot, delicious, fluffy, wonderful rolls. So I thought about that, and then I thought, okay, maybe I'll try this one thing. So I kind of said, like, the rolls are perfect, but I would need to put them in the oven to finish them off. Or I can like take a little risk and just turn them upside down on the bottom of the pot and turn the pot off and just leave them there for just a minute, just to sort of brown up the tops. So of course I said, let's take a risk. 2.2 seconds later, those rolls were burnt on the top in a perfect circle, black as can be. That's how hot that pot got. Even though I turned it off. I mean, because heat doesn't just magically go away unless you're using an induction. Even that stays warm. There is one, I think, thing that goes, no, it never really goes away, because even electric heating elements don't go away. Gas, no, because you'd still have that heat. So heat doesn't go away just because you turn it off, right? So anyway, so I ruined my entire batch of rolls. I was so mad. So I'm cutting the little burnt part off, and I'm still using them for sandwiches and stuff. But anyway, all right. So that was fun. So I made Thanksgiving yesterday. So by the time Thanksgiving rolls around, I will not want anything Thanksgiving related, like, because I'll be doing all these recipes and I'll be like done. So we'll probably make pizza or something. All right. So Melissa says, would you recommend the Ninja Possible Cooker? We have many of the other Ninja products. So when it comes to the Ninja Possible Cooker, it depends on what your cooking style is like. And if you have the Ninja Foodie, and that is doing well, the Ninja Foodie pressure cooker and air crisper, and that is doing well for you, the size is okay, you're not, you're able to get everything cooked in it that you want to cook in it, you don't need the Possible Cooker Pro. You really don't, because I can't think of anything that the Possible Cooker Pro does that the Ninja Foodie pressure cooker and air crisper can't do, right? There's a lot of things that the Ninja Possible Cooker Pro can't do that the Ninja pressure cooker and air crisper can do. So they're not like directly related at all. But if you need a bigger pot and you like are in the market for a crock pot, I think it's definitely worth it, especially when you get them on sale. Sometimes I think I got mine like around $80 or something like that. I think it's definitely worth it. I really love mine. I like the material of the pot better than any other slow cooker insert that I've ever had. I really like the way this works. It does transfer heat differently, so there is a little bit of a learning curve, but it's not a big one. You can put it into the oven perfectly fine. So it can really go from pot to finishing in the oven as is. I love it. I love it a lot, and I have since I got it. And I've never really, I mean, you can make candy in it. It's a nice big pot. I think it's worth it. I really do. If you are going to use it, of course. If you're not going to use it, or the Ninja Foodie pressure cooker and air crisper is just doing great for you, then you don't need it, right? Hi, Kay Chase. How are you? Have I ever made a beef satay soup? No, but that sounds really, really good. I've never even heard of it, but I'm going to have to look that up because that sounds really good. Barbara, that is a great question. And um, let's see. Doreen, I'll get to you in just a second with what kind of candy because I've made several things in it. Um, it depends. Yes, I mean, the answer is yes, of course, okay? You can make it for small recipes. Like if you wanted to do, let's just talk about a pork loin or a pork tenderloin, okay? 1 pound pork tenderloin. You could definitely bake that, or you can even sear saute it until it's done. Really, it's no big deal. So yes, you could do that. When it comes down to doing smaller, like you could do smaller soups, but you're going to have to be careful with your timing because you think about the way heat transfers and you've got this big pot. And if you only have this much soup on the bottom of the pot because you're doing like 2 servings of soup, it is going to cook so fast or scorch or boil because you don't have enough depth. So those are kind of the things to think about. But if you were doing at least 6 servings of a soup, it would be no problems. So there are little things to think about with doing small recipes, but yes, the answer is yes, you could. You can also steam, reheat small things in it too, on the rack. And I definitely recommend getting the rack. They don't always come with the rack. I definitely recommend getting the rack or a rack. Okay. And it doesn't have to be the Ninja rack, obviously. And so, Doreen, what kind of candy? So I have made fudge in it. I've got a recipe on my website. Not my dogs. I got a recipe on the website for an old-fashioned chocolate fudge. I have made, well, I made popcorn, which is not really a candy, but I actually turned it into caramel popcorn, so it was kind of a candy. I've made peanut brittle. I've made caramel. I've got caramel sauce in the Possible Cooker Pro. That recipe is already on my website, so I've made that in there. Peanut brittle. I'm trying to think what else. I'm at a loss. I think that's it. Now, Barbara, they have a smaller everyday cooker. I think I don't know much about it, but it is on the smaller side for, I guess, those reasons. But I don't know enough about. I don't know the differences. I guess if I'm going to dive deep into the Possible Cooker Pro world, I'm going to have to probably get that one too, so I can figure out what the differences are, just like I had to get the 5-quart, 6.5-quart, 8-quart of the Ninja Foodie. And let's see. Also, okay, so, oh gosh, that does sound good. So spicy peanut flavored beef, I would love it. I'm going to look that up. In fact, let me write that down. I've never even heard of it. I've never seen it anywhere. But that, I might have to make that tomorrow. And I have a whole pork tenderloin. I mean, I'm sorry, a beef tenderloin that I need to use up, and I would use it in that. And getting back to, it also has sous vide. So let me talk about that with the Possible Cooker Pro. The sous vide function is amazing. It is an amazing pot. If you have ever thought about getting a sous vide circulator, now there are a little bit differences. With a circulator that's specifically for sous vide cooking, you can fine tune your temperatures, okay? And they are designed just for that sole purpose, but they can be $100 or more. I have found that of all the Ninja appliances that sous vide, which the Ninja Foodie pressure cooker and air crisper, some models have the sous vide. I believe the Ninja Combi does have the sous vide, although I don't use it that much because I think in my yogurt recipe, maybe. I don't remember, but just because of the way that the pot is a little bit smaller. But the Possible Cooker Pro with the deep pot, it works great for sous vide cooking. So it's kind of like worth it to me just to have that pot for sous vide cooking. So what I did the other day is a pork tenderloin, a whole pork tenderloin, $155 piece of meat, and you can screw them up if you overcook them. You don't want to mess up this meat. So I decided that I was going to do a sous vide first and then a sear afterwards. Let me just tell you, it was the most perfectly cooked through and through pork tenderloin that I've ever made in my life. And it had the best flavor. I mean, it was amazing. And then you can sear right in the pot. You dump the water, obviously, after sous vide, but you sear right in the pot. So I am a fan of the Possible Cooker Pro, I must say. I still love the Ninja Foodi pressure cooker and air crisper, and I still love it more, but we've got to face reality that they're not going to make them anymore. So, I'd love the recipe if you could send it to me. I'll put my email. Let's see. Or you can send me a message through the Salt and Pepper on Facebook as well, but I'll put my email there. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. All right, so now, Pink Peony, do you still prefer your pressure cooker for making your Chex Mix? That's a good question. I use the air fryer for the Ninja Foodi pressure cooker and air crisper. I use the air fryer lid, and it has the deep pot. But I have to say that it's probably a little bit easier in the Possible Cooker Pro on the bake function. Mostly because I don't have to open the lid, the pressure cooker lid. And I think with that recipe, if I'm remembering correctly, you have to stir a lot more frequently. So with the Possible Cooker Pro, the Chex Mix, you can let it go 15, 20, even 30 minutes. Nothing's going to happen to it. It's not going to burn. In the air fryer, when you're doing it in an air fryer, you've got the direct heat going down on top. If you don't stir more frequently, you're going to end up scorching, burning the top layer. So in that sense, it's not really a preference as far as which one tastes better, because I think they both taste amazing. It is easier to do in the Possible Cooker Pro, in my opinion. Let's see. All right. Any other questions real quick? And then I'm going to say goodnight, let my doggies out, and then I'm going to go to bed because I'm exhausted. And yes, I know it's 8 o'clock. I go to bed at 8 o'clock. I like to be in bed by 7:30, but anyway. Okay, so the Possible Cooker Pro on the bake option is what I do for the cereal mix. I'm not sure if that's your question. You can elaborate a little bit, because I'm happy to stay on and finish answering any of your questions that you have about the Possible Cooker Pro. That's kind of like, I guess, as they would say, that's my jam right now. That's what I've been focused on. So I'm learning quite a bit about it. And so far, it really hasn't let me down. I've let myself down a few times. So yeah, the bake option is misunderstood quite a bit. So that's one of the things that I really want to explore a lot more, because I think it is a lot more useful than people think. But it's not necessarily something that you would use to bake something in the bottom. Anything above 250 degrees Fahrenheit, if you set your temperature up, like let's say you were going to do a chicken breast, and you wanted to bake it, and you thought, I'm going to bake it right in the bottom of the Possible Cooker Pro, it would burn. If you went up anything, it'd probably burn at 250, honestly. So that wouldn't be the way to do that, to bake a chicken breast. If you were going to do a casserole, it depends on the type of casserole, whether or not it could handle that 250 degrees Fahrenheit on the bottom, solid, and then the heat transfers up the side so it cooks all the way around. It might be that you should use slow cook instead. And the slow cook does work a little bit different. It's a little bit faster, even on low. And this is a true story, which it was a little bit shocking, but this is why I test recipes. I have a slow cooker French onion dip that I make in the Ninja Foodi pressure cooker and air crisper, and it is a slow cooker recipe. And I think I slow cook on high for an hour in the Ninja Foodi. So I thought, okay, well, I'll go on low, because I know it does cook a little bit different, a little bit hotter, it seems, in the Possible Cooker Pro. And it's cream cheese and sour cream and things like that. So I didn't want it to overheat, because it can start to separate, get a little bit funny. Well, let me just tell you, on low, was it low or did I try high? I don't know. No. I'm losing my thought. I just did it this morning, and see how I can't remember? Thank God I write notes down. What did I do? Maybe anyway, it doesn't matter. I did it on slow cook. I was not happy with the outcome. It did sort of split a little bit. So I would now switch that recipe, which I have to retest again, to a low sear saute and stir for 10 minutes and make it in 10 minutes instead of an hour. And I'm going to see if I can get the same flavor from it, because slow cooking does impart flavor and this dip. And so I tried it a few different ways in the pressure cooker air crisper and found that slow cook worked the best in that appliance. But now in this appliance, I don't know that slow cook will work the best. And bake definitely would be too hot. So I'm going to use sear saute on low and just stir it and see if I can get the same flavor in 10 minutes. Out of that, didn't answer anybody's question or anything like that. That's just me running my mouth. But anyway, we all learn when we have an appliance. It's not like I magically wake up one day and know how to do everything, because I don't. I just try and I fail, and I learn from that, and I try and try again, and I have a shit ton of leftovers, let me tell you. And some things go in the trash, but usually I can salvage them in some way. But I have so many containers of food right now. It's unbelievable. So any Halloween recipes planned this year? No, I haven't even thought about my Halloween's in 3 days, right? I haven't even thought of anything. I've got to be honest with you. Like, I haven't thought of any damn. The only thing that I've thought about, George, is that air fryer. What is that called that I've been promising to make for you for years? Beef Wellington. And of course, I just used my beef tenderloin. I just used it. It was a beautiful one too. I used half of it to make the sous vide beef tenderloin. So I've got another half, but I also have to test this recipe again. But that is on my list for a Christmas thing, is an air fryer beef Wellington. So that is still on my list. And Halloween recipes, I never really have thought about doing Halloween recipes. I don't even have any new Thanksgiving recipes coming out, unless I just decide to do one. But because I'm focused on this cookbook that I really want to get out to people, because the Possible Cooker Pro is very popular and a lot of people have it, and I really want to get that out. Oh, about I just thought of something else. Oh, I know what else I made in this. So I made, and it's not truly a focaccia bread, but it is a sweet focaccia type of bread. Okay, so it's not focaccia. It's more of a brioche, but I did it in the style of focaccia, which is kind of flat. It's got those dimples in it and all that stuff, but it's a sweet bread. It is like a breakfast bread or a dessert or something like that. It turned out so amazing. It is a candied orange and cranberry bread that's got the best icing on top. It is so incredibly delicious. It's probably one of the best sweet breads that I've ever made in my life. I made it in the Possible Cooker Pro from start to end. And it is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Mare, that would be great. Fall, winter squash recipes. I'm not going to have time to do any, unfortunately. Oh, well, I did for the cookbook that I'm working on. I did a butternut squash soup in the Possible Cooker Pro, and that is amazing too. Very, very simple, and very straightforward and very, very good. In fact, I gave it to Jeff as the first course for, I forget if we're having the stuffed pork loin, and the stuffed pork loin's amazing too. That's got a walnut, cranberry. I think I put, walnut, cranberry, and something else stuffing in the inside. It is so amazing, and it's so beautiful, and it's so flippin' easy to make. That's going to be a really good one in the cookbook. Jeff tried the butternut squash soup, and I knew that he was going to hate it because he's just not that guy. Give him meat, give him potatoes, give him soup, especially if it's not like thick and chili-like or, real beefy, hearty beef stew or something. Give him a pureed soup. Well, although he likes tomato soup, I knew he wasn't going to like it. He even kind of got his nose like, oh, butternut squash soup, that sounds gross. He didn't say that, but I knew it. He took one bite and he's like, wow, this is delicious. I'm like, yeah, I know. Oh, so exciting. So You can tell I'm kind of excited about this because I love creating stuff, and I was in a little bit of a rut with not knowing what to create for the Ninja Foodie anymore because I had 300 some recipes for it. So I am kind of excited to explore this Possible Cooker Pro and get some fun things out there that people can utilize this appliance in ways they never even imagined. And maybe they'll start making bread even if they've never made bread before in their life. So, Larry, this is interesting. Instant Pot appears to be introducing a new pressure cooker to replace the one lid. I'll have to look that up. I know that they have, I guess, no, theirs was always a 2 lid, wasn't it? Their Duo Crisp and Pro Crisp. That's one of the things I hated I hated their air fryer lid. I hated the way it worked. Completely hated it when it was the Duo Crisp. I have no idea what the Pro Crisp is like. Bye, Sylvia. I will have to, hi, Whooper. How are you? I will have to look into that, Larry, and find out what their new things are. I went with the Ninja Foodie, not the Instant Pot. I had an Instant Pot before the Ninja Foodie, but I never really used it because I really wasn't too fond of pressure cooking. I know that sounds absolutely crazy, but I didn't like it for all the limitations that it had. It was great for making soup and things like that and bone broth and stuff. But as far as using it as a real cooking appliance, it was never my thing because I like textures and I like the browning element of food, things that you don't really get in a pressure cooker. So that's why I migrated to the Ninja Foodie because it did both things and it did both of them very well. So, but now that we're going to be left with no Ninja Foodies in the next 10 years, I'm going to have to kind of switch over and see what the Instant Pot's got to offer. And I'll be honest with you, if I don't like it, I'm not going to use it. I mean, I'm not going to use it if I don't like it. I won't bash it. Maybe sometimes I do a little bit, but especially that Duo Crisp, I really didn't like that thing. What is that? I don't even know if I know what that is. I'm sorry. I read Kabasha soup, and I'm thinking, what is that? Okay, I've never even heard of that squash. I'll have to look that up. I'm gonna have to figure out what that is. I'm gonna look it up right now because I always say I'm gonna look something up and then I'll forget as soon as I get off this call. Kabasha squash. Oh, I've seen that. Dense sweeter one. Okay. I have seen that before. My mom used to grow a whole bunch of different kinds of squash varieties, but let me see, maybe I haven't seen that one. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, I gotcha. I know what it is now. Very good. I don't see that. I live in the hick town, and I don't say that to be rude to the people around here at all, but it's such a small little area. Like what was it I couldn't get the other day? I'm like, oh my God, I can't even get this ingredient. I can't make a recipe. Can't even get this ingredient. It was something I started out making clam chowder instead of seafood chowder for this cookbook. And I couldn't even get clams. I know I can't get them like fresh or frozen, but I thought I could get them in a can, right? No, I can't even get them in a can. Not whole baby clams that I wanted. So I ended up getting chopped clams and I made the soup. I can't get clam base anymore. I can't even get the Miners on Amazon. They don't have it. So I can't find my clam base. And I'm like, what in the hell? So I tried to make it without the clam base and with chopped clams instead of whole baby clams. And it turned out delicious. It was absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. But it's not white like clam chowder should be because I'm not using the clam base. I used a vegetable base in it, and it's so delicious. And I thought, I'm going to pivot this one. I'm going to use the clams in it, and I'm going to use the clam juice in it, but I'm going to put other seafood in it. We're going to call it seafood chowder because it doesn't look like clam chowder. It's kind of yellowish in color, but it was so delicious. So incredibly delicious that I definitely wanted to keep the recipe. I just need to pivot what I call it and add in some more seafood. So now it's going to have shrimp and scallops and stuff, and it's going to be delicious. So I'm excited about that one. I'm not going to put crab meat in it because I'm kind of a crab meat snob, and growing up in Maryland, and the pasteurized stuff that we get, doesn't cut it. I've even tried claw meat, that's like pasteurized or in a can, and no, it's not good. So I'm not gonna put any crab in it. But if other people like their whatever crab they can get, they can certainly put it in there. But I'm not doing that to my seafood chowder, because anything I can get around here is terrible compared to what we get in Maryland. So no. No, they don't. I looked that up. I'm not a better than bouillon person. I am a minors person. Um, but I've been comparing the two in different things. Like for the vegetable base, I've been comparing the minors versus the better than bouillon, so I can kind of get an idea about salt levels, so that I can make notes in my recipe for you guys who use better than bouillon, because you can get it on the store shelf. Minors you have to order from Amazon. But so I used the better than bouillon vegetable base in this, and it was good. It's very good. I didn't even use the minors in it. I'm not even going to test the recipe with the minors. I'm just going to stick with the better than bouillon vegetable base. But I looked to see if I could get the clam base. They advertise that they have it, but they don't. Nobody has it. I cannot find it anywhere. Now, it's not that I can't find it anywhere. I can get it, but I can't justify the cost for you guys to get it. So I'm not going to use it in my recipe, because you can get it in a 1 pound tub and it's like $30. And who in the hell is going to buy a 1 pound tub of clam base to make clam chowder? I mean, nobody, right? And I wouldn't even want you to, unless you love clam chowder and you're going to make it 100,000 times, and you're going to freeze your clam base and you're going to take it out when you need it and all that stuff. It's just a hassle. So 1 pound is way too much, too expensive. So I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to pivot. And those are all things that go into the developmental process of recipes. I mean, you have to keep in mind all these things. I don't want to make a recipe that costs you, $500 to make, because you need to buy all these special ingredients. If I have a special ingredient in my recipe, it's and you do have to go out and get it specially, it's because it's absolutely needed, in my opinion, for that recipe to be as good as I want it to be. So anyway, all right. I guess I'm gonna pop off here now, because I have been going now for 90 minutes, and I could talk for 5 hours straight, not miss a beat, especially about cooking. I love it. Just absolutely love it. So anyway, thank you guys for joining in. I hope to see you next Tuesday for Tasty Tuesday, where we'll do a little Italian meal, which is going to be a really quick and easy one. And then we'll go over our trip a little bit more, show you some videos and stuff like that. So we'll have a fun time next Tuesday. And KS, good to see you. And better late than never, right? And you just catch the end of it where I'm just wrapping everything up and just running my mouth like crazy, because that's what I do best, right? No, hopefully I cook better than I talk. I hope so, because all the words that I didn't pronounce correctly tonight, yeah, let's hope I cook better than I talk. Anyway, love you guys, and I will see you next week, I hope. Have a great rest of your week, a good Halloween, if anyone's celebrating or has little kiddos. And if you belong to Simply Cooking with Louise, I love to see the costumes that the kids are in. That's another little thing. Jeff and I were going to go to Corinth, where there's kids. Like, there's no kids around here where I live. It's all remote, rural area. But Jeff is sick now, so we're not going to do that. I was going to try to see if trick-or-treaters came around in that area. But I think so many people do the trunk and treat, or do like more organized stuff, because the world's gotten so crazy. Who wants their kids running around in the dark dressed, in costumes, with these weirdos out here. But if your kids are dressing up and you want to share pictures with me, you can do that in Simply Cooking with Louise. Just post them, or you can email them to me, or you can private message me with them, because I absolutely love seeing it. And I never had any kids, so I wasn't able to experience that. And I just love seeing them all dressed up. It's just so much fun for me. So Whooper, yes, say hi to your beautiful wife for me, and I will tell Jeff hi. And hopefully one day you guys will get back together and hang out again. And I'm going to tell people the funny story of how we met. Jeff and I were going to Ren Fest. No, it wasn't Ren Fest. It was the Blues Festival on the Eastern Shore of Maryland. And We were in a bar in the morning, I think, and we ran into Whooper, his wife, and another couple. And I forget how it all happened, but maybe we weren't going, or you guys weren't going. Somebody wasn't going to the blues festival. We all went together to the blues festival, or maybe I don't remember. It was a long time ago. We had the best time together. I mean, complete strangers, and we just had such a great time, and we've been friends ever since. So that's just, yeah, Jeff and Karen. I just saw them pop up on my Facebook feed. I'm not on Facebook as Louise Long too much because I'm so busy with the salt and pepper. I don't even get over there too much. But I did see something pop up, and I probably didn't even comment. But tell them I say hi too, and hopefully we can all get together because that would be so much fun to do it again. And we're a little bit older now, so maybe we'll behave a little bit more. I don't know. Probably not, right? Anyway, good to see you, honey. And good to see everybody else. I love you all so much. Thanks for joining in. And you really have brightened my day because I was kind of a little dragging before this. Now I feel like I'm like all inspired, and I'm not getting back in the kitchen though to cook. I'm going to get in the kitchen to clean it from what I did earlier today. So I love you guys, and I'll see you next week. Okay. Have a good one.